For a moment, Rennie was disconsolate, thinking the Lauren Pond talks were nothing but stories. Then, out of the vagueness of the past, there distilled a bright image to reassure him, an image of a world of hot summer sun on the blue wateriness of Lauren Pond, with its pads of pink lilies moving in the ripples the wind made. He had stood on the rock-wall dam near the road's edge and heard, and he could hear again, the hissing escape of the water between the boards of the dam gate and its splash into the pool underneath the arch of the road. He had followed the brook as it flowed through Lauren Grove to steep falls and watched the water tumbling, foaming over the falls and being carried in a wooden flume to the great mill wheel below. He smelled again the tepid summertime pond water, experienced again the sights and sounds and smells of a magical watery kingdom, of a fascinating world he knew he had known. Yes, Lauren Pond was a world all by itself and in itself.
And you told me that Pelton, that painter, stayed with your mother. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Can you? And he stayed there and
Yeah.
to pay for his board and
She had pictures that he had painted, because the girls had got them.
right.
Yeah.
And you had mentioned that he had did a mural on the wall.
Yeah, and as far as I know, that's still on that wall in
It
that
still
house.
is.
It was when Kathy
Mm-hmm.
had it.
Right,
That
okay.
mural was still there. It was beautiful. He painted everything on that wall. One-room schoolhouse.
And that was right up where McLaughlin lives
Yeah.
now, Gary.
Desma Bean, she taught all
Was she
class.
one of your teachers up
Oh,
there?
yes. Yeah. God love her. She was going with Clyde at the time, and back then, you went early in the morning and you built the fires, you was the janitor, and all the kids were, I mean, that's what it was.
That's right.
They had a big earthen jug, you had to go down, Mose Jones, who lived right near the school, while Stewie Matheson lives up over the hill
Okay,
right there
right
now.
up there,
Yeah.
right.
And he always had a well, so we'd have to go over and fill that earthen jug every morning. It was a big earthen jug, you know, with a spout on it.
Mm-hmm.
So at night, we'd have to dump that. Well, Desma, of course, Friday night boy, she wanted out of that school early because she was going to Portland to see Clyde. So we'd dump that water underneath her tires and they'd freeze in.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah. So Desma couldn't get out.
Now, did you buy your ice, or did you put it up at an ice house?
We put it up, we got some, I don't remember what, oh, Betty LaPointe lived just below us, an elderly lady. In the house is just across from where Laura Clark lived, that big place. And she had the pond there, and we used to get ice off that pond. Our house was two logging cans that we bought. They were new cans. It was built over in Emden on the road going from Concord Corner down to Solon on that road. And we bought them and moved them up to our place and built on them.
I had a real good life, as I look back upon it. I seemed to hang around with the old timers more than I did the young people. Fred Moore, I called him Papa. When I was 5 or 6 years old, Papa, he'd say, "Dick, you want to make some coppers?" I said, "Sure." And he'd take me out back and he'd get his grindstone out, and all his axes and size. And I was only about this high. But he worked me pretty good there for quite a few years. And then I used to go up and watch him. Tim would, his boy, would bring in 4 or 5 logs and he'd lay them out. And I'd hold the strings while the old man lined these logs out. And he'd get down on his knee and he'd hew them logs right out. And when you're done, you could almost cut your fingers on them. They was a square.
Rafting hardwood down the river became quite a good job and paid much more money than driving logs. The hardwood logs are cut and hauled to the river in the winter and piled in huge piles so that the high water in the spring won't wash them away. Father and I transferred from log driving to rafting. One of the rafts would contain about 300 to 400 cod. The hardwood did not float, so we would have to catch many of the large spruce logs and mix them in with the hardwood for floaters. A huge bunter was built in the river above the pile of logs to deaden the flow of water where the rafts are built. The logs are laced to cross poles with ropes called lacing ropes. The crotch stick used to shove one of the ropes under the log is called a crow's foot. The lacer is generally wet all over in cold or hot weather, as it may be. The several rows of logs are held together by long floaters, which are laced to each other the full length of the raft. One end of the raft is a headwork is built to support the sweep, which is an immense oar used to steer the rafts. Some years, millions of feet of logs were rafted to the mill in this manner.
Of course, I was born in Moscow.
Yeah, yep.
And we were burned out. And my father was working for the Covenants at Deadwater. And we moved to Deadwater. And my mother done the cooking in what they call Lions Headquarters. And I went to school there. And we worked in Mayfield in the summer, Deadwater in the winter, lumber. And I worked for the Commanders, and my father did for years. I watched them down the winter. There was a lot of families lived in Deadwater. Even up above the Y, there used to be camps. And over on the west side, Allie Loomis used to set up, he'd call in owls and shoot them at night, and then he'd set them up. And when I was a little fella, he used to try to scare me with them. There was quite a settlement right there in Deadwater on the west side before they put the road down. See, the railroad up through there. When that first mill was built, I think it was built by a Snow, and Stephen Messer was the one that built the mill for it. But everything went down the road that came off the Chamberlain Hill Road.
Remember how the Austin flows, when willows talk in gold, when maples wash the hills in pinks, and greens and grays are rolled like figments of a fairy tale across the melting snows that run before the song of spring up where the Austin flows.
Archie worked on clocks, Daddy's brother, clocks and watches. It's something he learned on his own. And Daddy did blacksmithing. He used to shoe the horses, fix the shoes, and done a lot of that. I don't know if there was anyone else that knew how to do it. And Kenneth, he was a pretty good mechanic. He worked on cars and trucks. Some of the others, I don't remember what they done. They all kind of had something that they was pretty good at. They killed the pigs for the meat, of course, and plenty of deer meat, oodles of that.
Whenever they needed meat, all they had to do was look up in the orchard.
We'd watch them with binoculars up in the big tree, and there was always deer up there. Yeah, it was. I wish more kids could grow up on a farm today and live like we did.
I was lucky enough to be born in a house on Temple Flat in Moscow, next door to Uncle Nathan and Aunt Sarah. Uncle Nathan Moore hunted moose, caribou, and deer for the meat and snowshoe filling. He trapped the wolf, beaver, eastern cougar, fisher, marten, mink, and otter for the skins. Uncle Nathan worked on the river drive in the spring as boatman and later ran hardwood rafts down the river. And in the fall, he worked as a guide. It was his great knowledge of the surrounding country that made people want him as their guide.
I don't know, I think I was, well, I had a lot of common sense for a kid.
Yes,
I'll say that.
yes.
I used to catch frogs when I was a kid. Those little green frogs.
Yes,
For fishermen down in Belgrade.
yeah,
Cent apiece.
really?
Cent apiece.
Penny
My
a
father
piece.
says, you get enough of them and I'll help you buy a rifle. I caught 1,300 of them that summer.
Wow,
I think the rifle cost $37. My father had 2 traps,
yes,
and this was in the fall.
mhm,
I was wondering what he's going to do with them. I didn't know he even had them. So he walked up the bog until the land rose about 3 or 4 inches above the water, you know,
yes.
so to dry.
Yes, right,
Bored a hole in the bank, put a trap in front of it, put some sweet apples up inside. Those 2 traps got two muskrat that night. I says, boy, $1.50 a piece? Wow, I gotta be a trapper.
We slid along the riverway, now swiftly like a driven wind, then slowly to the paddle swing, between the ancient hills that guard the upper Kennebec today, as when, perchance, they may have heard the Arnold men old ballads sing, the ragged hills that stand on guard. We passed old houses on the banks, and always as we faced the hills, they swung aside to let us through, as friendly as their shadows were, along the gray old swinging booms and past the yellow gravel bars, where strays of spruce pulp hung a while. We rode as smoothly as a cloud, and so we rode the Kennebec between the hills and laughing earth, between the years, between the years.
I was born in Skowhegan on the very day that my father got his first shipment of beer in the store.
Ooh.